Warning: the following video contains information about the murder and actions of a heinous and depraved individual. Viewer discretion is advised.
The absolute animal killed his 7-month-old son and then just threw him in the bin. He left him out for the binman to collect. Unfortunately, they did collect the bins. His body was never found. True crime fans, the story of Emmanuel Haro is one of those cases that hits you right in the gut, not just because of the age of the victim, but because of the elaborate, cold-blooded theatre that surrounded it. This is a deep dive into a case that unfolded in real time throughout the late summer and autumn of 2025. It's a story of a fake kidnapping, a history of system failure, and a frantic search for a little boy whose remains, even now, have not been brought home. It all started on the 14th of August 2025. The report that came into the County Sheriff's Department was every parent's worst nightmare. Rebecca Haro, a 41-year-old mother, claimed she was at a Big Five sporting goods shop. She told the police she was changing her 7-month-old son, Emmanuel, in the parking lot when someone jumped her from behind. She claimed she was knocked unconscious, and when she finally come to, the buggy was empty. Emmanuel was gone. Every true crime fan knows in a kidnapping case involving an infant, every second counts. Law enforcement swarmed the area and volunteers took to the streets. The community was on high alert, looking for any sign of a 7-month-old boy. But almost immediately, the investigators started noticing things that didn't fit. When detectives started looking for security footage, which you'd expect to find in a busy retail parking lot, they found nothing that backed up Rebecca's story. No footage of an assault, no footage of a suspicious vehicle speeding away with a baby. As the days went by, the narrative shifted from a frantic search for a kidnapper to a focused investigation into the parents, Rebecca and Jake Haro. During interviews, the inconsistencies become glaring. Rebecca eventually stopped cooperating altogether, and Jake, who had a history that should have kept him far away from children, hired a lawyer. By the 22nd of August, just over a week after the initial report, the kidnapping theory was officially dead. The Sheriff's Department announced that they believed Emmanuel was dead and that a kidnapping never actually occurred. They arrested Jake and Rebecca at their home on Ramona Street. As the investigation deepened, the public learned why this tragedy felt so preventable. Jake Haro wasn't a stranger to the court system. In 2023, he had been convicted of willful child cruelty for an incident involving his daughter from a previous marriage back in 2008. Absolute scum. In that case, the injuries were severe, yet the legal system had granted him a suspended prison sentence. He was on probation when Emmanuel was born. The district attorney's office later argued that Jake was a lower form of evil, someone who had essentially been given a second chance by a judge and used it to commit the ultimate crime against his own son. And then the chilling details emerged after the arrest. Prosecutors revealed that Emmanuel hadn't died on the 14th of August, the day he was reported missing. Evidence suggested he had actually died around the 5th of August, 9 days before the parents even called the police. While in jail, Jake reportedly confessed to an informant. The story he told was harrowing. He admitted to killing the infant after a period of ongoing abuse. Most disturbingly, he claimed he had placed the baby's body in a bin at their home. By the time police realised this, the bin from that week had been long collected. This led to a massive, heartbreaking search of local landfills, but despite the efforts of specialised teams, Emmanuel's remains were never recovered. The legal resolution for Jake came quickly. In October 2025, he decided to bypass a trial and pleaded guilty to second-degree murder, assault on a child under 8 causing death, filing a false police report. On November 3rd, 2025, a judge sentenced him to just 25 years in prison, plus an additional 7 years for probation violation from his previous child abuse case. Rebecca is still maintaining her not guilty plea, with further court dates scheduled for early next year. The community is left with a memorial for a boy they never got to save, and a desert that is still holding on to a secret it shouldn't have to keep. The case serves as a grim reminder of how the system can fail the most vulnerable, and how far some will go to cover their tracks with a lie that grips an entire state. Thank you for listening today, and remember, stay behind the yellow tape.